All right, so here I'm in my default themes, and I'm trying to find existing free designs for text that I might be able to use. Now I've opened up a bunch of these themes because who knows what might work out. Like medieval might work really well for He-Man, that kind of font. And now I'm just going to look at some of them and get a sense. So do I want Minecraft? No, probably not. These are all the sci-fi fonts. And there's 164 pages of them. But if nothing jumps out at you right away, you probably don't want it. So something having to do with He-Man, maybe this one. And if I want to try it out, I can click on it and I can actually type the font I want. So Putin, all in capitals, on the Ritz. Say large, submit it, and it will show me what that looks like in all the different forms. This one's really nice. It gives you a whole lot of variations on it. Wow. Just for these variations alone, which is very generous of that font designer. I'm going to go ahead and download this one. So when you hit download, even if it's not the perfect solution, there's very low cost to this because it's free and it takes up very little memory. It will download as a zip file into your downloads. So just go to your zip file, you find the font name, so Space Cruiser zip, double click on it, open up a folder, open up that folder, and you want all the TTF files. Usually there's just one, but this, like I said, has so many nice options for bold and for italics and for outlined. I'm going to just select all of these TTF files, every single one, and then double click, and they're going to open automatically in what's called the font book, and then I just install them. And I just hit the mother load here with Space Cruiser, which is available to anyone just from default. And now that you know what it's called, you can look for it exactly. But this is one of the very oldest sci-fi fonts. And why I said I hit the mother load is it's very uncommon for them to give you all of these different versions, right? But this would work very well on a t-shirt. And they have it in italics. Yeah, so that wouldn't be a bad solution, especially because I'm going to modify it for myself. Let's look at some of the other options. So Graffiti, lots of fun examples, nothing really bold enough, 16 pages worth for what I need that might fit your project, something to modify. You also are looking at the readability of it. And so if you find something that's close, I definitely recommend putting your type in and seeing how it reads. I kind of like how Ritz Crackers looks there. So I might download this one. Now here there's only, looks like one option that comes with it, but it looks like a good one. And it's called Cry One. So I need to find that. And then just install it. Now I keep those folders in my downloads, and I'll view my downloads and arrange them by date created, so it puts all of them up to the top. I keep them in there even after they're installed, just so while I'm working on the project I'm reminded of the name of those fonts, so when I'm looking for them in Illustrator I can find them. And obviously the more time you spend finding a good solution, the better your font design is going to be. But the reason we sketch to begin with is you really want to know what you're thinking of. Let's try this. That works for on the Ritz pretty well. Sharky spot. And again, it takes very little memory to save these to your own computers, here in the lab or at home. And as soon as you install them into the font book, they're available in all of your different programs. I like the ones that actually give you kind of an example of it put in practice. Because not only is it individual font design, it's also all the spacing design for it, which can be pretty unique, like how the Ritz is pretty closely gathered there. Nope, don't want any of these. Don't want any of these. I was wondering what Army would give me in terms of fonts. Don't want any of these. But these might be nice for the He-Man. You look at a few of these examples. Now, I don't like to use ones that are too on the money, like ones that are directly based on certain video games or album covers. But remember, we're going to be modifying these for our own purposes. And of course, you want it to be very readable. Sometimes you can have a very dramatic font, but it's just not very readable for what you need. Like Stormbringer, somewhat readable. Iron Metal is not. This one isn't readable at all. All right, I think I've got enough. Digital Gothic is intriguing then. All right. So, try my text. I usually will do all capitals because that automatically spaces it for you. And I'm definitely going to have Putin in all capitals. And I actually don't love that solution. Yeah, so not even going to download that one. So this just puts a sword through everything, and then you have to pick different ones. That's an interesting font, but I think I would like it without the sword. So I'm gonna take a chance on this one, even though I can't preview it. Download it, see what I can get. Barbarian, see what TTFs are in there. Yeah, so I'm going to want some of these. All right. Very interesting. Now, except for the Z, I like that. It's not quite as readable as I want, but that's where modifying it comes in. But it's very blocky and strong. So often for a project, I'll download, usually around 5 different fonts just to play with. I like it to be a creative exploration. I'm not the type of designer that just always uses the same ones. Though there are certainly ones I like more than others. And often in type solutions, when you have multiple lines of type like I do here, it can be nice to mix sans serif and serif fonts. Now I like that it has the shaded version, and this is actually probably the cleanest I've seen so far, especially for these letter types. Now, the other reason I like using Chrome for this is this one's called Should Have Known. For whatever reason, I can just click it there and it will automatically unzip it for me. And then I can install them both right away without having to go to my downloads folder at all. Good, the shaded version came through. I was hoping it would. All right. Now, since these are put up by designers, by authors for free, they'll give all of their usage information here. So it allows free commercial use. And they'll sometimes give little examples of how they're used. But sometimes you'll get fonts that don't work very well as well. And sometimes you'll have them re-navigate you to other sites. Because these are font designers that actually make money through designing fonts. And they give a little bit away for free to tantalize you into wanting more of their stuff. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's a lot like putting up stuff on Redbubble for free in hopes that they'll visit your gallery to see stuff to buy. All right, I think I've got enough fonts. I don't think I want to go the script route or the medieval. He's Russian, not German. Though if I could look up a Cyrillic font, that would be interesting. They're usually not that that exciting. There's a few. Yeah, but I think I'm better off. Okay. You can also try some of these other sites like My Fonts. Now, a lot of these they're sponsored sites, so you'd have to pay for a lot of these uses. But you can find other sites where they're free to use as well. Like an old Russian font. It's beautiful, but not something I need here. And not something I want to pay $20 for. Okay, so once you've found your examples, remember that you have your inspirations here. And that once you've installed them into your font book, you can use them in Illustrator. So that's where we're going to go now. And I like to have my downloads organized and open and minimized so I can see all the different names of the ones I've used. So Should Have Known, Super Die, Sharky Spot, Space Cruiser, and Cryanduk. So I'm going to minimize that, so if I forget the names, I can look at them. Now I am going to open up Illustrator, and a good way to do that is to actually open up your vector line work from assignment 7 in Illustrator. So I'm going to open up the EPS there. And it doesn't actually matter which one. I think this is the more recent one that I did. Yeah, on Wednesday. So, not that I'm going to lock the type in with my